Hey everybody, Jason here with Dirt Race Life. We are on the road heading from West Tennessee down to Columbus, Mississippi. It is a Thursday. This is the practice day for the Golden Egg at Magnolia Motor Speedway. I said we were going to make this thing, and we are. We are headed that way. Well, I say we, it's just me. But the girls are coming down tomorrow night. They're going to bring some more stuff, my t-shirts and stuff too, to have at the track. But for tonight, for practice, just me. We're on the road right now. We just left a little while ago. I got about a 4-hour drive ahead of me here. And of course, we got the car just on an open trailer. And traveling is expensive, and we are packed light. We're in the half-ton truck with the open trailer. We'll get about 15 miles a gallon because fuel is high right now. And anyway, and so this will not make for a cheap trip just in fuel to get there. But we're going to be down there for about 3 nights. And the way it works is Thursday night is just going to be, the track's going to be open for practice. And then there's a full race program with points and everything for crate racing on Friday night. So it's $1,000 to win. And I think the rule is if it's $1,000 or less in crate racing, it can be points. If it's more than that, there's no points allowed. But anyway, so tomorrow night, points race. That'll be good. I want to get on the board with some points. And then Saturday night is $3,000 to win. Of course, no points there. And I already know it's some heavy hitters come to this thing. I think the best of the best will be here. At least I hope they will be. And we've got one race under our belt with the new car. Don't have a name for it yet. One name suggested was the Orange Crush. I'm looking for names. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. We got a namer. And a couple of different things I wanted to cover while I was on the way over there. A lot of work going on to get ready. I've been scrambling for about a month just catching up. I just did not realize how far behind I was, and so really compressed my timeline right here at the end. Got the car back in the shop after running at Camden. Check out our video, the previous one to this, with Camden. Well, we ran the car for the first time there. Wasn't great. Track was really hooked up and tacky. Turns 1 and 2 were really spongy, and initially I did not have enough ride height on the right front with the 750 spring. I got to really studying it afterwards, studying the video too and everything, and you know, just taking some time and processing in my mind exactly what was going on with the car. And I really just didn't have my ride heights right on the car. I think the car is capable of dealing with a fairly tacky track, because after I cranked the right front up on the car, it was handling it fine. It still was moving around a lot and everything, but it was taking it, the spring was carrying it. I just, in the process, had made the car way tight in the feature. And as some of you had pointed out, moved up to the outside, got that right front hooking on that outside lip, and started getting the car to turn, and then I started making lap time with the car. I think the car is capable. Just got to do some work there. So along those lines, I went back, got the car back in the shop. I looked at the scales just to see where I was at on bite and everything. And the car was only showing to have about 160 pounds of bite in it. The way I had made it up at Camden just on the fly, I had it at about 160. But I had really messed my ride heights up. I had it way low in the rear. I was bottoming out my left rear shock, which is no good. So I had to fix that. Like, I had my deck at like 37, 38 inches is where my deck height was at. And that's not good at all. And then with me in the car, that would go even lower. So I was looking at that, and that was way high in my front. And so I'm like, okay, wait a minute. I've got my ride heights all wrong. I started out with the car over about 1/4 inch in the front, and now I measure my ride height on my bolts that go through for my lower control arms, where it bolts it to the frame on the front. The center of that bolt, that is my ride height point for the front. And the center of the bolt for my lower control arm on the rear, where it goes into the frame, that is my ride height point for the rear. And on the front, I had about 1/4 inch, where I had it at like 9.5 on the left front, and I had like 9 1/4 on the right front. And I had the car pitched over way too far to the right. That was really compromising also the amount of ride height that I had out on that right front. So I had to fix that. I got to really looking at it, working on it, changing it around, looking and seeing what it was doing on the scales. So I did make an adjustment on the ride heights, like it a lot better, looks right to me. I think it's going to correct some of the issues. It's going to let me handle that little bit rougher track without having to go and mess up my numbers in any kind of way, and I can leave it like that when it's dry slick. Now, along those lines, I set my bite. I had originally had my bite at about 100 pounds of bite. I brought the bite up to 120. I think 150 is too much on my car, the way, and of course that's running an 850 on the left front, a 750 on the right front. I've got a 100-pound 20-inch spring on the left rear. I have a 175-pound 16-inch spring on the right rear. I set 120 pounds of bite into the car, and the ride height on the rear with me not in the car is legal. It's at 40 with me not in the car. I have some concern with techs, just as far as really, like, ride height should be, you know, on the track racing. And so, you know, ride height with me would be me in the car. Well, the way the car is right now, my ride height is more like 39 with me in the car. But with me out of the car, it's about 40 across. And it's like I could be leaving something on the table by doing that, but I don't want to run into a problem with a crate racing tech that is expecting my ride height to be legal with me not in the car. And because I've been through tech before, and, you know, I'm out of the car and they're like, you know, pull your hood, you know, let me see your carburetor and this, that, and the rest. And then they're running around, they're measuring your car and everything. And so I don't want to get bit right off the bat. But if you've got experience with this, if y'all have run into this, or if I shouldn't be worried about it or whatever, leave me a comment, because I really don't know. And so I do need some feedback on that. So if you can give me some, I'd help it. Any of y'all that have dealt with this, with crate racing and their technicians and everything. So I got the ride height set. Now I've got the bite set. Of course, we're in the open trailer. I got 8 brand new tires that were taken, 4 new tires on the car. Everything's scuffed. I said scuffed, but I've ground off because they're new and, you know, they got that compound release on them. But 4 more in the back of the truck. And one of my right rears that was the tallest right rear, the tallest tire I've got, I took it and I took my grooving iron and I went and cut it up. Of course, the rules this year are letting us groove and sight H500 tires. So I went ahead and I cut some cross grooves in it. So it's my backup, just in case if I'm in a race. And this track, normally all my feedback is this track's very controlled, you know, very slick, very black. But if for some reason I'm on the track and it's slimy, you know, if it's really loose or really slimy and I'm needing to qualify, or I'm needing to qualify or heat race or whatever, that's going to be my backup plan. That can go on the right rear. I didn't bring my grooving iron with me. I did bring my cold siping handle with me. It's just got the 2 razor blades in it where I can sipe. And I'm probably just going to spend my time down here. Like tomorrow, I'll be down here all day long. Of course, racing's not till the evening. So I imagine I'm going to sit here and I'm going to sipe everything to death. Is what I expect. You know, probably just go through and just sipe everything up. I just haven't had time. But yeah, so I got those 8. I'm probably going to sipe up, not going to groove anything other than that one. And that's just, I won't run that tire unless I run into that situation. And I'll run that tire. Sipe everything else up. Brought 20 gallons of fuel with me for the weekend. Don't even have a generator with me. I've got the battery for the trailer, and then I've got an inverter where I can run the air compressor if I need to. I am budget racing for real. And I've got a good omen, because Mr. Daryl Langley, he follows us and on the videos and everything, and he sent me, he's just I was fixed to pull out the driveway, and FedEx came and he sent me a shirt. He sent me one of his Langley Racing shirts here, and he sent me a nice letter here, and he sent us some sponsorship money to help us, and that's going to help us on this trip. That's helping with fuel. Thank you, Mr. Daryl. I appreciate that. But just, you know, that arriving, and of course I'm nervous because, you know, it's like I've run the car one time, but, you know, when you've got everything's new, you don't want to get way away from home on a multi-night trip and something breaks that you missed, or you know, or that, you know, or anything, you know. It's like, is there anything, like I went over the car after I ran it at Camden, and the track was a little rough, and that was good, So I had a chance to look for loose bolts or anything. But, you know, I got that paranoia going in the back of my mind. I'm going to get way off down here, and I'm going to miss something. I'm going to forget something, you know, whatever. But that showed up right before we left the house, and I told my wife, I said, that's a good omen right there. You know, it's positive reinforcement. We're doing the right thing. You know, because I mean, we're on a shoestring heading down here. If you really like what we're doing here, look at, you know, I've got links on all our videos on the descriptions where that you can join as a DRL sponsor. So consider that, y'all. I'll check in with you in a minute. Well, y'all, check it out here. That is the mag right there. Magnolia Motor Speedway. That is one nice looking track right there. It's the first time I've ever been here. It's not as big as I thought it would be, but looks fast. Boy, it is very well prepared. Good looking facility here, y'all. Anyway, so we're gonna get unloaded, and they're gonna start practice after a while. Yeah, I'm thinking I'm gonna go long ways on the steer tires and maybe across on the drives, or I may put the diagonal on it on the drives. Go get her. Get these jumpers where maybe they'll work. I need to get some covers too. I haven't got covers yet for this car. I need to get some orange ones. I guess I'll get orange or chrome, one of the two. Some covers on these tires where they can warm up. That'll hurt me maybe a little bit. I wonder how many laps the race is. You got enough laps, you don't need the wheel covers, but it's a short race, you need wheel covers to build that heat. But I was having to use the throttle to keep the car rotating, coming middle out. So I only had about a ½ inch of stagger in the rear. I brought that up to an inch of stagger in the rear of this car. And then I also took in on the right rear weight jack, I took about 1.5 rounds out. So I've added a little bite to the car, but then also added a little bit of stagger. Now adding the stagger is going to take bite out, I put some rounds in, but I still went a little more. So I'm just trying to free the car up a little bit on entry. So adding left rear bike, free the car up a little bit on entry. I think it's going to throttle out fine. I think adding the stagger is going to take care of as far as, you know, it throttling up on me and trying to push up toward the wall. I could tell that I was having to keep the car in a slight drift, and I really want to roll the car to be as fast as it can be. All right, so we're going to run it one more time. Last run, I was really happy with how the car drove. Like I said, I put an inch, I went from a ½ inch of stagger to an inch of stagger in the back, put just a little bit more bite in the car, and a little enough to take care of where the stagger was going to take it away, plus a little more. It freed the car up on entry just a little bit, and freed the car up in the middle of the turn by adding that little bit of stagger. It was beautiful. I was just really happy with it. Turned out really well. I am going to leave it alone because the track was full dry slick that second time that I ran it. I was trying to get on my race pass where I could look at my lap times, and I couldn't get on there. I got to go to the room and get on the laptop and see if I can get the password or whatever it is I got to do. I don't know where I'm at on lap times compared to everybody else. I got to see. I'm not for sure. I got to check. That's it. That wraps it up, and we'll have another video for tomorrow night when we're running for 1,000 to win, and then hopefully another one for Saturday night in the 3,000 to win. Appreciate it. See y'all next time.